Well, I have always opposed the Heather has two mommies idea. I think that it is needlessly confusing to a child. I think that the grand experiment of gay parenting and single gender parents is already radical enough for a child to have to deal with. I think that it's for a political point that makes adults feel good, that I think that there's an excess imposition on the child who will have coping problems in adolescence where schoolyard friends or enemies tease and so on. I just think that it's unrealistic, that it makes more sense for there to be a primary mother or a primary father in the case of two men, and for the other one to be the co-parent. And so I'm completely happy. And in my case, it was easier because my partner gave birth, so I do feel that since Allison bore the child, she's really the biological mother. Now it would be a little bit different possibly when you have two women adopting, and then there would be like, well, who is going to be the assigned mother and so on. In this case, it was easy, and it's also the reason that our son has her name. I felt that he's the biological result of the Maddox line. But we went to court, and fortunately, the Pennsylvania laws have been reformed, and we were lucky enough that I was able to legally adopt. So he is my adoptive son. He's now 6.5 years old, and it's just it's been a wonderful experience. One of obviously the best things that's ever happened to me.
Are you married?
No, we're not married, and should I take this opportunity to announce that Allison and I, after 15 years, are actually separated. Okay? So. We are kind of semi-separated because she's still living at the house, but we're co-parenting. So I use this opportunity to make the announcement of the breakup of yet another lesbian couple. But I'm sort of currently in love with a Brazilian superstar, and I'm simply in her entourage right now, Daniela Mercury, okay? And so it's been this has been rather major, okay? But so that's where I am now in my life.
What happened?
What happens with Allison and me? Well, I mean, I think it's just, alas, I know people are going to get mad at me for this, all right? But I question, okay, there's a long-term lesbian relationships in terms of whether the spark can really be kept going. I mean, I think that when I see men couples together, like I have friends who are male couples, they have a much more kind of open and sophisticated lifestyle, which is closer to the French model, where you have these like deep personal relationships and bondings that go on, with our famous literary examples. There's just so many, you can name, from Ginsberg to Auden, to Gorby-Dahl, and so on. And I think that gay men just have this attitude. Well, of course, romantic adventures and the odd fling is sort of factored into it. And it's easier for men to do that. But I think with women, it's not so easy because the women are much more emotionally bonded. So with women, it's like deep and it's for life, and therefore, in my opinion, it's harder for women to get the balance between sexual passion and the deep spiritual commitment. So I envy gay men this ability, because I think if that were possible with lesbians, we would just be going on. But I don't think it's possible. When a fling for a lesbian couple is a betrayal. It's a betrayal. It's a betrayal of intimacy. Whereas the gay man, possibly because of the compartmentalization of male sexuality that I talked about in Sexual Personae, where it's just a matter of it's like the random and mischievous sex organ just doing its thing, and it doesn't really go very deep. So yeah, it's one of the many things I've envied about gay men.
Yeah. Now, Obama, you've written about him quite a bit. How would you say he's faring in regards to queer issues?
Well, I know that gay activists in the U.S. are very unhappy with him and disappointed with him. And I've heard quite a lot about it, feeling that he hasn't supported the controversy in California, etc. And from my perspective, the Obama for whom I voted, I have contributed to his campaigns and so on. It's not that I'm not critical of certain things. I mean, I just don't. What is this insularity, this navel gazing? We are for heaven's sakes, we have a new president who's struggling with like major crises in the Mideast, and the economy is reeling. And instead, the actors, well, we don't like him anymore because he's not putting our issue. Now, what is this? It's childish. It makes the actors look childish. Now, yes, keep up the drumbeat, okay? But they start, well, he's not what we thought he was. After like a few months in office, give me a break. Why can't gays show that they have a wider perspective? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not concerned about any of that. I'm just worried, okay, about the boiling pot in Iran. I'm worried about the situation with Israel and North Korea and so on. I mean, come on, it's not sophisticated.